Good morning, everyone. We are going live. Well, I am going live for the next 15 minutes. I am just going to double check and make sure I actually am live. Hold on here. 1 second. We've got a minute before we officially kick this thing off. Let's see. Stand by. This 15-minute session is on the shoulders. So I did a quick test. I posted a test video on Tuesday on my platform that you all can go back and look at. But that helps test internal and external rotation. And so today we are going to do some techniques that help fix that position. Okay, we are going live officially. All right, so I've got some videos to show you that will help guide you on the path to helping fix the shoulder rotation. But first, I want to make a couple announcements. My name is Dr. Teresa Larson. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I do not practice traditional PT. Rather, I am in the preventative health space, health and wellness space. I kind of toy the line between medicine and fitness, to be honest. I work with a lot of fitness organizations as well as organizations that offer wellness programs. And I run a company, so I'm a president and founder of Movement RX, which is a company that gives people the knowledge and tools to live a lifetime of physical and emotional freedom. And we work with not only individuals, but also organizations with leaders of organizations that want to put their people first and need the how-to help get their people healthy, right? Mentally, emotionally, physically. So a few announcements before we get into shoulders, because that's why we're here today, is one, if you're in New York, Pennsylvania, anywhere on the East Coast, my colleagues and I, John McCaskill and Will Schneider, and my team at Movement RX, we're running a retreat in New York in May. The link is in my profile, which you can look at. And we have a few spots left and would love for either you or you to bring some of your team or share it with someone that you know needs it. It's a mindfulness adventure retreat. So what you're going to get at that is we have physical longevity evaluations, and we're going to be doing physical longevity practices, doing mobility and stability drills for your body, right? And it's actually really fun. And we're doing yoga, we're doing meditation, and we're having fun doing other mindful-based exercises together while we completely unplug for 4 days. Right? Imagine what that's going to do for your psyche. Imagine what that's going to do for your health and wellness, to include also your productivity when you come back. That's in May. The other one is we have a conference, a Buffalo conference, right? If you're a leader of an organization and, let's say you have a sales team and you want to learn how to weather some of the storms that you face on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, there's a Buffalo conference in Colorado Springs that I'm running with a bunch of other amazing veterans, to include John, Travis Hearn, Dr. T, the other Dr. T, Philip Kuntz, Laura Jones, Gretchen Evans, John Register, some amazing big names in the veteran space. That's in July. That's also in my link in my profile. And the last thing is, if you're a parent out there, right, and you have your kids in schools, please look at my post yesterday on ways you can get involved in helping keep your kids safe at school. Mass shootings are an issue, and there's a lot of it's disgusting, the fact that they even exist in schools. Well, anywhere, but in schools especially. And it's hard to know what to do when you're a parent, because you're working, you've got raising your kids, and oftentimes there's little time left for yourself. But there are things that you can do to help feel empowered with taking on this situation. I believe the solution happens in your home, but check out that post to see other things that you can do to help kind of lean into this and make a difference in your own home as well as your own community. Okay, so now let's get on to shoulders. So shoulder internal rotation, right, and external rotation. That's basically reaching over your head, right, and reaching behind your back. A lot of you had some discrepancies side to side. Now, injuries, when we look at preventative care, when we have these large asymmetries side to side with the shoulder, that can be a problem, right? Like if you have a huge difference on your right compared to your left, and you fall on your right side, right, and you don't have great mobility on your right side, it can cause stress in the muscle, ligaments, connective tissue around the shoulder, elbow, wrist. That's why we do mobility and stability, regardless of pain, right? We test our range of motion, we test our flexibility and our stability, which we're focusing more on flexibility today than we are stability, meaning stability is like control of the joint. Let's say you've dislocated your shoulder, you're a ballerina, a dancer, or someone who's used to be a gymnast, right? That can cause instability issues, especially when you stop that sport and all of a sudden your joint feels really loose, or you've injured your joint before and it feels really loose and you're not sure what to do that. That's a stability issue versus you have missing range of motion, missing flexibility. And so if there's a big difference left to right, right, reaching up your back on one side compared to the other or over your head, right, that can create problems down the line. So we want to tackle them now. And here's the thing, the shoulder is it needs flexibility, right? If it doesn't have it, it's going to impact the shoulder blade, it's going to impact the neck, and it's going to impact the spine, right? The muscles that cross the shoulder also cross the neck and lead into the lower back and the mid back and the neck, right? So we want to take care of this so we can take care of our neck and our spine too, right? There are going to be other lives that I do that are focused on the neck or the mid back or the lower back, but it's all connected, right? So just because we're focusing on the shoulder today, know that, most likely if you have a left shoulder issue, it's causing left neck issues or left low back hip issues even, right? An ankle issue on your right side can cause problems all the way up to your neck if you don't take care of it. And so that's why we're proactive on doing these specific mobility and stability drills, right? So, and I'm not just talking about stretching. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. And let's see, I want to start with, let's just give me a second here. All right. So we're going to go back to this test, right? And I'm going to play the test and I'm going to speak out loud just because you probably cannot hear it. I'm on a Restream platform. So I'm with my sister, Elise, and she's also a Marine. So for those of you that don't know, I was in the Marines. And so what we're going to be doing is testing our shoulder rotation. Elise is going to reach up one arm behind her back and touch her opposite shoulder blade and then reach her arms up. And the goal is that she can get within a close distance of her fingers, right? And maybe even touch her fingers, but ideally be within a hand's distance of her fingers, right? She's good to go on that side, but the other side, she's more limited, right? So the key here is pay attention to how it feels on each side. Is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference when she reaches her left arm over her head and her right arm behind her back. Okay, so I'm going to stop share here and go back. All right, so now I'm going to share again, and we are going to look at, let's see, we're going to go with an overhead mobility drill. Let's see here, what's this one? Okay. Yep, this one. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is a lat. So this drill, let's say your left side. So Elise is actually, when she reached her left arm over her head and her right arm behind her back, that was where she was limited. So this drill in particular can help you improve the mobility of reaching your arm over your head and reaching for that opposite scapula. Okay, so check this out. This is when I was blonde. This was like 6 years ago when I did this video, but this is on our platform. I've done a lot of videos. So I'm using a band, but you don't have to, right? You can just use a foam roller. The band is just helping me get some leverage with my arm over my head. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm keeping my arm over my head and I'm rolling just underneath my armpit area, right? I don't want to be on the armpit itself, but I'm just rolling under the armpit area. And I'm spending some time there, right? If it's tender, this is where mindfulness comes in. Pay attention to that feeling of tenderness slowly going away. Okay, slowly going away. Give it some time. And I'm going to roll down just a little bit more now to my rib cage area because the lat, we're actually rolling out the lat here. The lat is an area that attaches to the front of the shoulder and winds around, attaches to the spine and all the way down to the lower back and pelvis area. So we want to get all aspects of that lat that can very much limit our ability to bring our arm over our head because the lat is a extender, right? It helps extend our shoulder and bring our arm back behind us. Okay. So, and it's also an internal rotator of the shoulder. So this is a drill that you can do without the band. But if you have a band, go ahead and do what I advised here. Okay. So now I want you to do that on each side too. So ideally you want to do about 90 seconds to 2 minutes on each side. All right, let's get into the next drill. And this is about, you want to do this daily. All right, this one is also going to give you a chance to work on your bringing your arm over your head, right? There is something you can do about it, right? There is maintenance you can do even if you've injured your shoulder. So here we go. I'm going to turn the volume off and play. So you'll see I place a ball right under the meat part of my pec, the front of my chest. Okay, and I have my arm out to the side. You can do this against the wall. And I'm basically using my other arm like a push-up to press into that ball, okay, as I'm stretching, doing a nice pec stretch. We get so rounded with the way we work that this is a nice opening technique. Again, you can do this on each side of your body for 90 seconds to 2 minutes or more, right? Bringing your arm out to the side, up, or down like this, but placing the ball right here. All right, so let's do a couple more techniques. Like I said, okay, let's do this one. Okay, this one is going to help with working on the internal rotation aspect. So bringing your arm up your back. External rotation, again, is bringing your arm over your head to reach for the opposite shoulder blade. Internal is bringing your arm behind your back. Why do we test those? Because that's a very important movement of the shoulder. Okay, those are two very important movements of the shoulder. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm placing the ball near the front of my shoulder. And I'm going to lay on the ground. Okay. I'm going to place my arm just behind on the base of my lower back and my other hand out to the side. Okay. And I'm going to use my opposite arm that the ball is under, and press up. So notice it's kind of like the pec smash that we just saw, but I'm putting the ball underneath my shoulder, putting my arm behind my back, right? So it's actually stretching my arm into the position that can bother you the most. And then I'm showing this pec stretch that you can do too, right? So you can put your arm behind your back to really get into that internal rotation position, or put your arm out to the side, or both. Again, both sides for a couple minutes. Let me stop share. All right, let's do one more. I've got this one that you can do in a door jam. I believe I did this one, hold on 1 second, when I was pregnant. So this is pregnant with my first son. All right, and let's see if I can expand that. Okay, here we go. All right. So what you're seeing here, I'm going to expand, is me taking a band, right, and putting it around my elbow. And then what I'm doing, and I'm putting my foot in the band too. So I've got a band around my elbow and a band around my foot. And then what I can do is go into a door jam or on a rig, right, and hold my hand on the rig. And it's actually pulling my shoulder down, my shoulder joint. It's giving a nice little stretch in the shoulder joint. And what I can do here is just do a little mini squat, like a quarter squat, right? And what that's doing is stretching my shoulder into internal rotation gently, right? You don't actually have to use the band for this. The band gives a little bit of extra traction to the shoulder, but it's a really nice technique that you can do while you're at work, and just needing a movement break. All right. So again, you're placing your arm behind your back, grabbing onto a door jam, and then doing a mini squat, right? If you want to use the band attaches to the elbow, under the foot, and then you get a little bit of traction to the joint, right? A little bit of, we call it traction. So basically it creates a little bit of space in the joint, and that's really good for it. Now, these techniques you don't want to do if you just like yesterday injured your shoulder. Usually within the first 14 days of a shoulder injury, right? You're not going to want to be doing any crazy stretching, really just a lot of soft tissue work around the shoulder. and probably seeking a mobility or movement expert. So we do actually do telehealth within Movement RX. But so here's the thing. So here you got the test, like test your shoulders. Is there a difference left to right? Make a note of that, right? And notice, like, does the limited side feel like it actually causes issues in the neck, causes issues in the scapula, that wing bone, mid back or lower back, right? And then try those techniques. We did the lat smash first, lat mobility with the foam roller. Do that on both sides for at least a couple minutes or more until the tissue becomes less tender, right? Do the pec release with the ball, and or the pec release with an internal rotation bias of the shoulder, right? Bringing your arm up your back. You can do the door jam stretch, right? Grabbing onto the door jam, using a band if you want or not to create some traction on the shoulder. Try those 4 techniques and do them on both sides. And the side that feels more limited, maybe do an extra minute or 2 on that side, and then see how it goes, right? Give it at least a month of work where you're putting in consistent time, and notice the difference up the chain into the neck, into the mid back and lower back, right? So here's the thing, where people miss out with preventative care is they're not consistent enough. You try it once a week or once a month, you go to a yoga class, you get a massage, but you don't stick with it yourself, right? If you get an adjustment from a chiropractor, great. You get a massage, but go ahead and do your own work at home every single day. This will take you probably 15 minutes total, right? This lecture, this session is already done. So thank you for your time. If there's any questions, I will definitely look at them in the comments. But remember, if you're in New York, Pennsylvania, anywhere on the East Coast, we have a retreat in May. We've got a few spots left. We have a conference, a leadership conference in the Springs with some big name veterans in July. And then if you are a parent and want to think about what you can do safety-wise for your kids, look at my post yesterday. Have a good one, everyone. Appreciate you, and we will see you soon.